I'm doing all of your dishes. I'm giving you makeovers. I'm teaching you how to walk like a, runway model. Why are you so horrible to me? Why are you making my life a living hell?
What's up, everyone? Shakiel Mahjouri here for CBS Sports, and you know who this is. She is the UFC's #1 women's bantamweight contender, and of course, the former champion. She challenges Raquel Pennington for that title at UFC 307 on Saturday. The Venezuelan vixen, Julianna Pena. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going? I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I told you I had no caffeine left in my system, and I think whatever was left, I just put into that intro. So.
That's great. Yeah, no, I'm running on fumes too.
Okay, well, let's enjoy this experience. Let's trudge through this together. Of course, it's a pleasure to talk to you, and that'll make it a lot easier. I'd like to start here. I was just reading some quotes from your coaches, and they say that you're the meanest person in the gym. So I'd like to know, Juliana, why are you so mean when it comes to sparring and training?
Oh, that's like nice, but it's also horrible. I think my gears are broken. I don't know. Like there's no like neutral or like first gear, second gear. It's like all or nothing. And I think that's probably why they say that.
Hey, as long as you can turn it off once the training session's over, how whatever gets you to the world title, I'm on board with. So.
Well, I know that for a fact that they think that I'm a sweetheart. So they know just like in the gym, they think that I'm a psychopath. But outside of the gym, they know that I have a good heart and that I mean well.
Good, good. Well, you got to take the good with the bad, and I think in the trading context, it makes all the sense. We got this Pennington fight, and you're coming off quite the layoff, not the longest of your career. I was repeatedly doing the math, try to get this right. This is about 26 months. You did have almost a 30-month layoff between the Valentina Shevchenko and Nico Montano fights. What were you able to sort of, and you came back and you won that Nico fight. So you've had success with these sort of turnarounds. But what, if anything, did you take from that experience of being off for 2.5 years that you can sort of apply heading into this title fight?
Well, it's not just that layoff. I had a pretty big layoff too when I first
Oh,
after I
yeah.
became a Ultimate Fighter, and was out for probably 2 years there with the reconstruction of my knee. So it's not something that I am, shy from or like shy with. I have had long layovers, and that's just my body telling me that I need more time off, and that's what my body is saying. So there's not really anything I can do about it other than the fact that, when I was ready to go, she wanted to push it back longer. And so I
Mm.
have just been kind of waiting for her to say that she's ready to go. And so October was when she decided, and I obviously jumped at the opportunity.
Is I think this varies from fighter to fighter, but for you, does ring rust feel like a thing? And what do you do to kind of overcome it if it does?
Like I said, I've had so many of these times where I'm taking off, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years. And when I come back from that layoff, I win. And so I don't necessarily think that ring rust is not a thing or it is a thing. I just know that for me, it's not something that I'm a stranger to. And for me, it's always been a good thing that my body has had the time to recoup. So I don't look at it like, oh no, ring rust. I look at it as, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. I've done that several times, and that's just what my body was indicating that I needed.
We've all had roommates. Some we get along with more, some we get along with less. I know you and Raquel Pennington ultimately did not get along during your time of the Ultimate Fighter. And I was watching some of the interviews that you guys did during International Fight Week. Is there a component of this fight for you that is, I guess, sort of emotionally driven? And for you as an athlete, because again, I think every fighter tackles it differently, is that something you turn off on fight night? Is that something that you can actually source to motivate you? Like, how do you sort of channel all that come fight time?
Raquel and I have had our history of little spats. If you watch The Ultimate Fighter, she was, doing things and saying things that I didn't agree with. And it gets to be one of those, I don't know if you saw that Netflix series, it's like Worst Roommate Ever, where they just have these like terrible roommates. And I'm like, I'm doing all of your dishes. I'm giving you makeovers. I'm teaching you how to walk like a, runway model. Why are you so horrible to me? Why are you making my life a living hell? For me, it's like, it's just, what do you do when you're doing everybody's dishes and you're living with the worst roommate ever? You just want to slap them. So for me, it's just one of those things where I would just much rather get it over with. This has been 13 years in the making, and it's time for the worst roommate ever to get their due justice.
How does Julianna Pena unwind when she's not fighting or preparing for a fight or thinking about fighting?
Sauna and cold plunge. Thank you, redwood saunas and cold plunges. Yeah, I love getting in my sauna. I love cold plunging, but sometimes I like sit down at my couch and I'm like, wow, I haven't sat down here for like
Oh,
3 months. My house is a launching pad to get me from one training session to the next, training 3 times a day. So I don't ever hang out on my couch too much. If I'm gonna be doing anything, it's like I'm going to bed and I'm literally gonna just, spend my time scrolling, mindlessly in bed. And so that's what I do to relax. I just hang out in my bed and go to sleep.
I imagine part of that scrolling has to do with how committed you are to sort of growing your brand. I feel like, especially since Amanda retired, it's improving a bit with Kayla, but I think there's this impression from the media or the fans that like there's not many things to get excited about at women's bantamweight. Do you feel like you're doing the lion's share to keep this division interesting and relevant?
I think I've always done the lion's share of keeping the division alive. And that is why none of these girls can do an interview without speaking my name and without, trying to throw the jabs. And I swear, it's like half of the time that they're doing the interviews, it's always somehow, bringing me up into the mix. And so I'm doing my job. I know that I'm doing my job because if I wasn't, they wouldn't have to be mentioning my name during every single interview. So at the end of the day, I think absolutely, I've always been doing the lion's share. Even when I'm not fighting, I'm always, trying to make sure that people remember and that they, are excited about watching our division.
Okay, well, I'm gonna make you say a name here, so apologies in advance. Who do you think is the best women's bantamweight on the planet right now, not named Juliana Pena?
Oh, not named Juliana Pena. I think Amanda Nunes, but she's not active. But hopefully, I can bring her back out of retirement.
Hopefully, is that safe to say you'll be calling for that fight post fight?
Yeah, of course, it would be
Have
the
been, will be.
biggest women's fight in history.
All right, I like the sound of it. As we start to wrap up here, I am curious. So you mentioned Amanda. You become a two-time champion here. What are some of the, I guess, milestones, benchmark? Like, what becomes the goal at that point that keeps you motivated, keeps you going?
Defending and remaining the champion, I think would be the number one immediate goal. And just continuing to fight as long as my body is willing and able. I definitely think that my health, I don't care about the rest of these.
Hmm.
I don't care about the next, greatest thing since sliced bread. What I care about is my body and, am I going to be able to walk when I'm 50 years old and making sure that my body is at its peak optimal stage in order to get into these fights because at the end of the day this is a combat sport and it has taken many years off of my shelf life, I would say, in terms of health and my health bar. So at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that I can fight, stay healthy, defend the belt, and fight more in the future.
Um, how are we feeling now? Like, any end in sight? Are we feeling good?
No, we're feeling great. Yeah,
Good.
no,
I'm happy to hear that.
no,
I'm
there's no
happy to
end
hear
in
that.
sight. Unfortunately, I feel like I will be fighting until 60 years old if my body allows. That's why I'm saying that my only goal is to make sure that I'm healthy because Lord knows I'm going to be, there's years old still trying to fight somebody calling Dana up and being like, book me a fight. I'm never going to stop.
I mean, if you're fighting till 60, I mean, a picture of health, like perfect health. They got to start studying you. Let's
Hopefully
wrap
we'll
up with
be,
a.
sorry, I was gonna say hopefully we'll be living on the moon by then because I'm gonna have to have some sort of like bionic legs and arms and stuff like that.
Hey,
It's
who
possible.
knows? Who knows where the sport's gonna go? We got Have you ever seen like Fight Circus? Like you got 3v1, you've got Siamese twins fighting, so I feel like Bionic would be a big upgrade. Hey, let's top and tail it on these. I opened up with your aggression in the training environment. What was Julianna's outlet for aggression before MMA? Because I think I read that that's one of the things that kind of got you involved with the sport in the first place.
I was involved in whatever sport was in season. If it was soccer was in season, I played soccer. If it was volleyball, I played volleyball. If it was basketball, I played basketball. If it was softball, I played softball. So whatever the school was offering at that time, I did, and that was kind of my outlet. But I would say that's probably it.
Last one. What's the best genre of music for helping you really put in a hard sparring session?
The best genre of music
Yeah,
to help me in a sparring session.
yeah. Or just a hard training session, whatever.
Yeah, so it's got to be kind of, I don't want to say electronic or like house, but kind of like a combo of like techno-y.
Oh,
Um
interesting.
yeah, to
Okay.
like techno-y music. But honestly, I listen to a lot of music and I think that I'm a rapper on the side. But then when, the day ends, and this is going to sound completely like polar opposite, I listen to a lot of Christian music, believe it or not.
Hey,
And
good to know.
that always makes me feel so much better.
Do you want to drop a few bars for us on the way out here?
Sure. Bam, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya, blessing them fools like Pancho Villa, a Reka, I can score a bucket, hit the ball out of the park over the field like Kirby Puckett. Oh,
Julianne, hey, 98%. We'll
I guess
redo it next. That's okay. Oh, right at the, hey, it's okay. We got a world title fight to focus on. So afterwards, post fight, I'll give you a rematch on this one. But very impressed, and also just shout outs for doing it, because I tried to get you all Romero to sing one time, and he would not do it.
that's hilarious. Yeah,
Uh,
no problem.
Juliet, I want to give you the last word here very quickly for me, guys. Thanks so much for watching the video. Subscribe, tap the bell, thumbs up, all that good stuff. Give us your official prediction. You might have to play this in like 0.25 speed. For Raquel Pennington versus Julianna Pena, that is the co-main event for UFC 307 on Saturday. Juliana, if there's anything you want to tell the people, the floor is yours.
Nope, just thank you for supporting me. You can follow me on Venezuelan Vixen on all of the platforms, and I appreciate the time. Thank you so much.